my review of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince film that came out last month. It's going to be in 5 parts. I will try not to ramble. Part number 1. The film versus the book. I think the film was better than the book. Seriously, I can't even joke about that. Out of the series, Half-Blood Prince is my favourite book, and it's because of the flashbacks. This book makes Tom Riddle into a much more interesting and deep character, and it opens up debates about whether you're a product of where you come from, or whether Tom just made the wrong decisions, but they were nevertheless informed decisions. So obviously a lot of this backstory was missed from the film. As I said before, films work differently from books. An adaptation is an interpretation of a film, it's not a copy. Bearing this in mind, I think they did a fantastic job. Yay. Part 2, the characters. Tom Felton. Wow. He understood Draco's struggles in this film so well, and he portrayed it brilliantly, I think. In the book, you don't know whether to feel sorry for him, whether to pity him, or whether to just be annoyed. It was spot on in the film, I thought. Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman is always fantastic, because he's Alan Rickman. Frickin' Alan Rickman. He plays Snape so well. The reason is that he can have an expressionless face and tell you all of his emotions, all of his mixed emotions, and the complexity of emotions, just through his eyes, and that's a really important ability for this particular role. Snape doesn't show the truth, and he holds it all inside. Jim Broadbent as Slughorn was just genius casting. When I found out about it, I was so happy about it. It's a complex role because there's this quite funny, jolly guy on the one side, interested in, money and grandeur and status, and on the other side he's an incredibly tortured soul. I mean, he's been carrying around this burden for so many years, and I think Jim Broadbent portrayed this really well. Michael Gambon, his Dumbledore in this film was much closer to the Dumbledore that's like my Dumbledore. But yes, I love the scene at the beginning with Slughorn, and also the one at the end in the cave. Last character I want to say, Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. I think I've said enough. Part number 3, set design and special effects. Flying through London and the destruction of the Millennium Bridge. That's how you do an opening sequence. I want me a simulator ride of that, people. It made me think of Star Wars, with the bit where they go to destroy the Death Star, which is actually a simulator ride. I've been on it at Disneyland. I loved that bit. That was great, especially with the music. In fact, the music was just fantastic overall. In theory, I also thought were done very well. They were very frightening, and on the second and third time I saw the film, I knew that grab bit was coming, and I still pissed my pants. Set design on the Weasley shop, I loved it. It was exactly how I imagined it. It was bright, fun, loud, crowded with people. It created this great contrast between the rest of Diagon Alley. I also loved Knockturn Alley and the really kind of oppressive, closed-in cobbled streets. Part 4, the love. Harry and Ginny. That's generally my thought on how that was portrayed. I think that the actors did the best they could with what was given to them, script-wise, but I just wanted to see a little more passion, a bit more connection there, because it's a relationship that's kind of a bit out of the blue, and it needed a little bit more oomph to make more sense. Ron and Lavender. Wow, how annoying was Lavender? She was really annoying. So that was just spot on. Ron and Hermione. Wow, Emma Watson. She had a lot more to do in this film, especially in terms of acting kind of range. She provided that Ron-Hermione storyline with a lot of light and shade. She did a good job of it. Part number 5, the summary. I really enjoyed this film, especially on the second and third view. I think it gets better with extra viewings. I think it did a great job of setting up the last films, which I think is essentially what Book 6 does, and don't think that that's a negative thing to say. I enjoyed the comedy. I think it kind of balanced the Draco story, the Horcrux flashback. Why, by all means, sir, come along! I think the acting was the best of all of the films, and I think the character development was fantastic. That was my review. Sorry it took so long and isn't that fantastic. Please, if you have reached this far, I'm going to leave some Harry Potter questions in the sidebar. Please do answer them in the comments, because it will be fun and you'll make my day.